So since we're talking about New Orleans this week, I figured I'd play a jazz duet for you on a couple of my saxophones. And a duet is any two people either playing instruments together or singing together or one of each singing and one playing. That's a duet. Two, duo, two, duet. So how am I going to do that? There can't be two of me, but yes, there can. Because we have the technology to put two videos together. So I'm going to record two videos and put them together. You'll see in a second, one video on top, another video on bottom. I'm going to use these, my Bluetooth headphones, to stay together. I'm going to play a metronome into them. Metronome is something that keeps time for you, so it'll sound like this in my ears. And that way I can stay in time. So as long as I'm using that for my beat, both videos should mash together just fine. So I brought my tenor sax for this first one. And the tenor sax is a little bigger than the one you saw before in a previous video where I was doing improv. Tenor sax looks like this. It has a curved neck, and it's bigger, meaning it's lower than the other one, the shiny one that I had, the alto sax. So this sounds a little lower. It's like its big brother. It sounds lower. Tenor sax. And that term tenor comes from singing voices. Because if you sing in a choir and you're a girl, you're usually either a soprano, or if you have a deeper voice, an alto singer. And if you're a boy, you're either a tenor, if you're a high singing person, you have a high voice, or a bass, if you have a low voice. So I'm right here on the tenor voice. And then the alto is the low singing women's voice. Where it's right here, alto saxophone, tenor saxophone. And they do make soprano saxophones for really, really high notes. And they have even a bass saxophone for really, really low notes. But the common ones are alto and tenor. So I'm going to play a little bit tenor for you. And remember, we didn't talk about this in the instrument video, the different families. This is a woodwind instrument. And can you tell me why? If you said there are holes, we call them tone holes going through this whole thing, you're correct. There's just little mechanisms in front. It's almost like a car. Every button is pushing down a different button. So if you see I push that down, it pushes that down. If I push this down, it makes this open up way up there. That way we can have our fingers right here, but still open and close buttons that are way too far away to open and close otherwise. So it's a very mechanical instrument. It's a woodwind because it has tone holes, just like that, going all through the tube, because all it is really a tube with holes in it. And it has a reed. You can see my little wooden reed right there. Let me see if I can pull out a reed right here. Here's a clarinet reed. This is what they look like all by themselves. It's just a piece of wood, bamboo. And if we look right here, it's bigger than this clarinet reed, right? That's a tenor sax reed on my mouthpiece right there. So the woodwind is because even though it's metal, it's even made out of brass, like a brass instrument, has a piece of wood, so it's a woodwind, it has tone holes, which also makes it a woodwind as well. So let's hope these two videos can mash together and it works out. Let's find out. So that last song was from The Sound of Music. It's a musical. The song was called My Favorite Things. Maybe some of you guys have heard it. It's a very famous musical. But I'm going to switch over to my alto now, but I figured I'd play a little bit here and then play a little bit on the alto so you can hear the difference between the two. Remember, this is the lower one, the tenor. Remember, the only lower one is bass. Then we have alto up here, and the only higher one is soprano. So tenor, alto, we do have soprano, we do have bass. But this is the tenor, the sort of low one, and then alto is the sort of high one. So this is what this tenor sounds like, especially if I'm playing low notes. All right. Now, why don't I go get the alto? Oh, all right, so the alto is going to sound higher because it is the higher instrument. It's also going to be smaller. If I take it out right here. Smaller. It's also a different color, and all these instruments come in all kinds of different colors, and honestly, you got to be careful sometimes if your instrument's a weird color. It may not be a very good brand because they're trying to trick you by looking cool with that instrument. Anyway, this is the alto, and you can see it's quite a bit smaller, right? Same thing though, where it comes down or around, and it is also a woodwind, of course, because it has all the tone holes, and it has a reed right there. So why don't I play a little bit for you? Let me warm up, because it feels different from the tenor, even though they play so similar. So this next one I'm going to play for you guys, I'm going to do another duet where I stack it on top of each other, and I have my headphones so I can stay hopefully in time. Sometimes these are hard to sync up when you can't hear the second person playing along with you. But this next song is called How High the Moon. I'm going to play it on this alto. So I hope you guys learned a little bit about our two saxophones, at least these two. There's a lot more, but these are the most common, the alto saxophone and the tenor saxophone. And their comparison in sizes, you can see that. There we go. And of course about duets as well. Duets are any two instruments or singers or one of each playing together. Duet, duo. The word duo means two, right? Duet means two musicians playing together. So why don't we get back to New Orleans now?